Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for taking the time, as we always say, every single week on these webinars and every month on our podcast. So, real fast, I also want to mention we just got confirmation. So, our first official podcast episode will be with Mr. Coach Mike Savage. So he was Tony Robbins' right-hand man for many, many, many years, and now he works with Tarek on, I think it's called Flipping Homes or Flipping Houses. He just wrote a book. So anyway, Mike Savage is awesome. That podcast is going to be launching within about 2 to 3 weeks. So you'll see an email with the link as soon as we get everything produced and out. So that's going to be fun. So let's jump in. Today's presentation, very, very important. One of our core companies, Pacific Life. You saw some of our prior marketing about today's webinar. We're super excited about this for so many reasons. Number one, yes, they are a core top 10 carrier with Levinson. We work directly with them, so that's good peace of mind for you, knowing you work with Levinson, and we have the direct IMO contract, so there's not 22 layers in a hierarchy or pieces of pie taken out commission wise and service wise. So that's very, very an important point for you all to know and feel comfortable with. Number two, as far as growth, right? So here at Levinson, we have over 90 carriers on the life and annuity side, and that includes supplemental products, long-term care. So out of the 90 carriers that we have, as far as a growth percentage in the last 12 months, Pacific Life is in our top three. So that's a huge deal. And there's a lot of reasons why. And that's why we wanted Carlin to come on, who's our official VP at Pac Life, and present to you all kind of like a grand opening relaunch, if you will, because it has been a while. So she's going to talk about all of the highlights, all of the reasons why you need to be selling Pacific Life to your consumers, and some great sales strategies and some great underwriting technology also. And let me tell you, as far as turnaround time, right? Number one, their term in GUL, second to none. Number two, with their smooth sailing and automated underwriting program. So if you have a younger, healthier client, the turnaround time from app to decision within 24 hours if everything is super clean and your client responds quickly, obviously, but it could be 24 hours. Typically, we're seeing about 2 to 5 days, so within the week, if everything is smooth and there's no red flags, and that's up to $3 million. So this is huge. It's also a very simple drop ticket process on iGo through our website. So lots and lots of goodies. I don't want to steal any of her thunder. What I'm going to do, I have a few slides I want to touch on, and then I'm going to turn it over to Carlin, who's going to take the wheel in about 5 minutes. So let's jump right in. So real fast, I think this is another huge deal. I like to talk about some of the things going on here at Levinson and then some of the things going on outside in the industry. Real fast, this was huge. So when you're an agent out there in the field, and we have to put our agent hat on, right? And we're marketing and selling to all these leads and prospects, and we're on social media, right? We're spreading the word, we're e-blasting once a week, newsletters. These consumers and prospects, right, and even existing clients, maybe you're talking to that are getting out of an old term policy, they have to have peace of mind. You need to build the confidence, the trust. And in my opinion, right, it doesn't matter if you're on the phone with them or through a Zoom call or in person, you're talking for 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, how great and reputable you and your company are. And here's your website. When you got a picture of the family with the dog and the kids, right? Everything's great. But as soon as you bring up this point that you're looking at in front of you, the game is over. Okay, they're ready to talk quoting premium application. When you talk about on CNN, on Wall Street Journal sites, okay, and on their pages and social media pages, Pacific Life being the number one rated carrier as far as customer service, okay, from surveys done with consumers, from agents, from all the above, you don't need to talk anymore, literally, okay? And the list is in this link, and we'll include this in the thank you email. but this is tremendous and sells itself. So if I'm an agent out here in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, working out of my third bedroom, I'm making my 100 calls a day, I'm working my in-force book of business, my leads, my prospects, network, family, neighborhood, whatever, okay? You talk about this one point in front of you, and it's like, okay, tell me what's the quote, and you're in. So you need to share these things. I would share this on social media, share this on your website, and on every single conversation. Number one rated insurance company, Pacific Life, and not by me, Mr. Agent, by CNN, by Wall Street Journal. Okay, write that down. That's huge. In my opinion, it's like game over. As long as the premium is competitive, you're getting the sale. Okay, and by the way, speaking of premium being competitive, what you're going to find with the term, they're in the top three always. Okay, and you can go quote them on our website with our top companies. You're going to see Pacific Life either 1, 2, or 3, 99% of the time. Okay, and it doesn't matter the face amount or term length. So that's a big, big deal. Their GUL, okay, second to none with ROP built in, living benefits. I'm telling you all. And by the way, when you're quoting term, you should also bring up the GUL product. I'm telling you, 40 to 50% of the time, our agents are getting the GUL sale when the consumer just came in the door wanting term. Okay, why? Because of all the pluses, the bells and whistles, and the guarantees. Okay, it's huge. Is it more expensive? Yes. Okay, but look what's included. And Mr. or Mrs. Consumer, we don't have to have this conversation again in 10, 15, 20, or 30 years, right? We know how this works. Let's keep moving forward. The expo, huge. And Pacific Life is going to be there. Okay, Carlin's going to be there. You'll get to meet her face to face. And what I would suggest is as soon as we hang up this call at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, you go to our website and register an RSVP. Why? Because we're capped at 300 agents, which is the fire code, and we're already close. So we just announced our keynote speaker for the day is Mr. Joe Ross. He's one of my favorite life and annuity sales coaches, period, in the industry, bar none. Okay, he's going to be there, 45-minute keynote. Plus, we're going to have the agent roundtable discussion and a networking lunch, and it's right on the ocean. There is no reason for you not to be here, especially because it's free. As long as you're an active Levinson agent, if you're coming from up north, okay, think about this. Yes, it's free for everyone. Okay, we take care of breakfast, lunch, snacks, even dinner the night before for the out-of-town agents. And if you're coming from a different state, okay, and you want to fly in, no problem. Check out on the bottom, starting at $30,000 of paid premium, and you can combine life and annuity, LTC. All of our carriers and products are included in this schedule below. So starting at $30,000, one free night at our beachfront resort. $60,000, we take care of round trip airfare plus one free night. $70,000 round trip airfare, 2 free nights at our beachfront resort. So you can make a staycation out of this, a vacation out of this. And if you're local and you qualify, we give you the difference in a check or through a gift card, whatever you prefer. So you're in. Okay, very important. Get those apps in now because the qualification is going on as we speak. It's going to be focused on life and annuity sales strategies. That's the name of the game. So you're not just going to sit there to hear a carrier speak for 20 or 40 minutes or whatever it is about how great their financials are. No, this is about nuggets you can walk away from this day to make more sales, period. Okay, let's keep moving forward. Make sure you're registered once again. Okay, what's new at Levinson? This is important too because we do have over 90 companies, okay, and we don't have any overlapping. So what does that mean? Each carrier that's on our list of core direct IMO carriers, they represent a niche in the space. Okay, so it's very important for you to know and understand. I'll give you an example. Citizens Life. Okay, just rolled out their life product. Okay, it's the only guaranteed issue life product 0 to age 80. No one else has anything like this. So again, we don't want the Burger King and McDonald's on the same corner. Each company has their niche, and you need to know enough to be dangerous, because when you're out there visiting with these people or hitting the phones or your Zoom calls, whatever it is, you need to be able to pivot. And this 411, which is what you're looking at in front of you, updated every 2 weeks, gives you a snapshot of every carrier, every update, product, what's hot, what's not, what's gone, what's here, and especially coming into the new year. So you got to keep your eyes peeled for this on the life and annuity side. Every other week, this will be sitting in your inbox. If you're not getting it, let us know. It could be in your junk folder, or maybe we have your old email address, which, if that's the case, you got to call us and let us know what the new email is. Let's keep moving forward. So real fast, I have 2 slides left, and then Carlin's going to take over. This was a great piece that we put out about 3 weeks ago, and it was, why did a record number of agents transfer to Levinson in 23? Okay, we have our surveys, and I think it's important for you all to know you're at the right place. You're at home here with Levinson. Over 52 years, over 23,000 agents in every state across the U.S. It's a big deal. Why? Right? The big reason is why. And we know there's a lot of competition out there. Okay, we feel our mom and pop story, right? We're not owned by one of these huge corporations, right, that owns 122 IMOs or MGAs. No, you're dealing with myself, Carrie, my mom is here, my sister's here, and the rest of our 26-person staff, which we consider family. Okay, but that's all great. Okay, and that personal touch is important. And you can get Carrie, my dad, on the call if you have a case that was standard and you need a standard plus or whatever it is. That's important. Okay, but what else is important? What makes us unique over the other 3,000 IMOs across this country? Okay, well, these are the reasons why in 2023 we had a record number of agents come work with us from other IMOs. Very, very important. What we're going to do, I'm not going to touch on each platform and package, and we have new training platforms for life, annuity. It's all free, okay? We'll include this in the thank you email so you can check it out. And if you like, 1 or 2 or 20 of these things, just call one of our marketers and we'll get you set up. And by the way, we're constantly making this list bigger and better for you all. We cannot ever sit back and rest on our laurels and say, oh, you know what, we got a good thing here, why screw it up? No, we need to always think bigger and better, right? Because there's no floating, there's no neutral. You're growing or you're diving, period. And we're always going to grow. Okay, and we've done that. Proof is in the pudding. So let's keep moving. So what I want to do real fast, this is our latest launch through InsureMeNow Direct. Okay, another niche, by the way. So when you think about, the low-hanging fruit, the smaller life policies, supplemental products, okay, dental, vision, hearing, critical illness, all the above, it's a lot easier, right, to have your website up and running, especially if you're on the health side, the P&C side, even the life side. The smaller policies drive everyone to your website. It's just, think Amazon. That's the best way to put it. These consumers can go on your site, run a quote, apply online, get approved. You wake up in the morning, you have new policies sold, new commissions, okay? And most of these advance. You get the free scholarship for each consumer that costs you nothing, costs the consumer nothing. There's so many pluses. Manhattan Life is our latest carrier to launch on the platform. In fact, we just did final testing today, so we'll be launching officially tomorrow. So make sure you're marketing this, okay? And this is the future. You got to think, yes, make the time to speak with Johnny or Susie about the $1 million GUL sale with Pac Life, right? It's $22,000 of premium and you're making a huge commission, right? Of course, take your time, maybe meet them at Starbucks, whatever it is. But for an $18 a month critical illness plan or a guaranteed issue DI plan or a $20,000 term policy, send these clients to your website, okay? And the younger generation, they want to be able to go to your website. They don't want to meet you at Starbucks or they don't want you in their house at the living room table before the kids go to sleep, right, on a Tuesday night, whatever it is. They want to go to a website. You got to think one, two, three. That's how the younger generation thinks. They want to run a quote. They don't even want to meet you anymore. Okay, which is fine. Let them go to your site. They can buy a policy. Your agent of record, get a new commission, plus renewals on most products, done, and you focus on the big Pac Life $1 million GUL sale. That's how you need to think in 2024, right? We have to pivot to the way our consumers want to do business with us, not the other way around, or else you won't have any consumers left. Okay. And by the way, you think, oh, my book of business, my clients, they're never going anywhere else. We have such a great tight relationship. Well, what happens is, I hate to say it, but these clients start dying off, or they're going to refer their children and their grandchildren, niece, nephews to you. Okay, and they don't want to do business the same way, or they might not be as close to you as their parents or grandparents were. Okay, so you have to cater to both sides, especially in this new fast-paced world, right? We know how it works. That's why Amazon got so big. Okay, let's keep moving. What I want to do, without further ado, is introduce our VP with Pacific Life, my good friend, Carlin Snipes. Carlin, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
And I'm just pulling up my PowerPoint, so just let me know when you guys can see it.
Yep, we can see it.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much, Bill, for having me today. And also with me on the line is Ivy Knoll, who is my internal wholesaler. She's an internal support for me, and she's a wonderful asset as a tool to help out with anything. We work with the Levinson team a lot on cases. It was really interesting, Bill. I want to reinforce what you said about Carrie getting on the phone and calling and working on cases where maybe they just need a little slight push on that underwriting offer. Carrie is wonderful with that. He works really well with our underwriters. He's a tremendous asset to Levinson to help you guys, get the offer that you need to place that case. So what I want to talk to you about today is our products, but also I'm going to actually do this a little bit differently. This presentation is more of a sales strategy presentation, case studies. So what I'm going to do is present the products and these case studies that you might not be thinking about for these products, and maybe you've done it in the past, but maybe haven't, forgot about it for a little bit. So just remind you of some things you can do with these products that we have to offer. So with that, we'll get started, and thank you all for joining us. So I'm going to reiterate some of the things that Bill said to you today, and I really appreciate everything he said. One of the things that we find at Pac Life, our brand is tremendous with consumers, and that should be really important with you, because one of the things when it comes to Pacific Life, clients know who Pacific Life is. They've seen the whale jump out of the water, and it's across the country. It's not just like one location. I know Pacific Life is based in California, but across the country, people know who Pac Life is, because if they watched any college football, if they watched any golf, they're going to see that whale jump out of the water. So we're really, really happy with our brand, and the company is over 150 years old and is not going anywhere. We are committed to the term and GUL market space, and what we did actually in recent history, I think last year was the year we actually bumped up. We were at 5 million was our max for the GUL product. We bumped it up to 20 million last year, and the first part of this year we actually bumped up our max face amount on our GUL policy to 26 million. So we're very, very much committed to that space. And term, just like Bill said to you guys earlier, we try to make sure we're always in the top 3 when it comes to pricing. So that's where we want to be. We're not always going to be number 1, but we're going to be in that top 3 space for you. Now, one of the things I always like to remind everybody about, if you don't know, Pacific Life is a mutual holding company, and it should be extremely important to you as well as your consumers, because one thing you don't have to worry about is that every quarter we're having an earnings call with shareholders and trying to find ways to increase shareholder value. We don't do that. We're owned by our policyholders, and that's who we report to. So we have to do the best thing we can for our policyholders when we make changes to policies. We're making sure we're doing the right thing there. And then lastly on this page, from an ethical standard, we're very thrilled about this. This is actually the 6th year in a row. Last year was the 6th year in a row, and hopefully this will be the 7th year in a row going in. We've been voted one of the world's most ethical companies. And that's not just financial services. That's actually across about 75 different industries out there. There's only about 3 insurance companies that make this list. So we're very, very proud of that. And again, hopefully we'll have 7 years going into 2024. So one thing I'll mention here, I do not get a lot of questions when it comes to our financials. People are really comfortable with the company, but if you ever need help with that, or if you're looking for financial information, our website provides our annual report, documents, everything like that you could possibly need. But what I'll point out here is our Comdex is 95, And we were one of the few, if not only, carriers that during the COVID times, our ratings actually improved. We went up. We were a 93 Comdex. We went up to 95. So I mean, it was, and Fitch, our Fitch score improved as well during that time period. So we're very proud of that as well. But like I said, I don't get a lot of questions on our financials. I really don't. But if you ever need anything, we've got that information available to you. Hold on a second. I got out of my page for some reason. Okay, so the products we're going to be talking about today are our term product, which is PL Promise Term. Minimum face amount on this product is $50,000. It's the 10, the 15, the 20, the 25, and the 30-year durations that are available on this product. You can convert this product either before the end of the guarantee period or the client's age 70, whichever comes first. And you can convert it to that policy in the middle, which is the PL Promise Conversion UL. Now, this policy's minimum face amount is $50,000, just like the term product. It does have return of premium built into it when you guarantee the policy to at least age 100. And it allows partial conversions. I'll talk more about this as we go through, but it's a very, very competitive product. So when we created this product, we wanted to make sure, again, back to the policy owners, we're giving them a good product solution when it comes to conversion. Now, with this product, you can also get up to 150% of normal compensation when you do a conversion with us. And you do not have to be the original writing agent. So if you come across a case during a policy review or whatnot, and you're talking to a client and the client, maybe was sold a term policy, but they really needed a permanent solution and they didn't really understand the difference. You're having that conversation and you decide, okay, the client and you decide, let's convert this policy. If you do that, then you're the new writing agent on that conversion policy and you'll get full compensation on that policy. And I'll show you what we're talking about when I say 150% of normal compensation. I'll give you that breakdown so you can see what that looks like on the policy. And then lastly, we have the PL Promise GUL policy. Again, a no lapse guaranteed GUL policy. You can dial it down to 90, take it out to 121. Just like the conversion solution, this policy has a return of premium feature built into it. So again, if you guarantee the policy to at least age 100, that client's going to get that return of premium feature at no additional cost. You can add a chronic illness rider to this policy, as Bill mentioned. So that's available in all states except California and New York. None of these policies are approved in New York. Everything is approved in California except for that chronic illness rider on the Promise GUL policy. Again, all of these materials are available to you. I know Levinson can get you the link so you can access client materials, their fact sheets on the product, things like that. So that's all available to you as well. So with that, let's talk a little bit about how we can match these products with different opportunities. So one of the things I would like to talk about is let's look at the PL Promise GUL policy. And in this situation, what we have is a family business, and the solution, the sales idea we're going to look at here, is a one-way buy-sell strategy. So in this case, the hypothetical case study, what we have is Simon, who's 63, and we have Sally, who's 58. They're the owners of a family-operated business. Their estate together is $6 million. The business is their primary asset, and that represents $4 million of that $6 million estate. Simon's healthy, he's going to qualify, he's going to have no problem qualifying for life insurance, but he could potentially outlive a term policy, so that might not be the best solution for him. Sally's not involved in the business at all, but she does rely on the income that business generates for them. They do have one child, Derek, and he is integral to the business. He helped it grow, and he's obviously going to be the natural successor from his father. So the question here is, how can Simon ensure the business passes to Derek and Sally's still taken care of? So here's the solution that we're talking about here. So what we want to do is Simon and Derek are going to enter into a one-way buy-sell agreement where Derek agrees to buy the business at Simon's death. And what they're going to do is they're going to then purchase a life insurance policy on Simon. And Derek is going to be responsible. He's going to be the owner of that policy, and he's going to be responsible for paying the premiums. Those premiums in this example are $60,000, just over $60,000 annually, and that's going to be coming from the business bonuses that he gets from the business. So that's what's going to be paying the premium. Now, what's going to happen is at his death, when Simon passes away, this policy is going to be available to Derek to take care of the policy. Take care of the needs that he has with the business, and he also can give the money back to his mother. So he doesn't have any impact. He's not going to lose his assets in the business. He can pay his mother back her portion, and she's taken care of in the event something happens to Simon. So just a really simple solution for this situation. And like I said, if Simon's extremely healthy, a term wouldn't help them in this situation, because maybe he's going to outlive that 30-year policy. And in 30 years, what happens to his health? Maybe his health declines. And at that point in time, he's going to have to either do a conversion, or, maybe he's going to be uninsurable at that time and have to do a conversion. So if he's going to do that, we hope he's with Pacific Life, because we have a really, really good conversion solution. So what are the results of this? So what we see happen is the family, the business continues, keeps the family business in the family. It doesn't have to be broken apart or anything like that. Sally is adequately provided for. She receives $2 million non-business assets plus the proceeds of that business sale, the $4 million from the policy. So now with the GUL and the term, we do have what we call our modified underwriting that's available. And what that means is, for clients between the ages of 18 and 70, we can offer life insurance policy to the client with no medicals or no labs. So they can come in what I would call fluidlessly. So both the term policy offers that, as well as the GUL. So their situations, actually over 70% of the time, the policies that went in place last year for us, over 70% of the time, they went on the books without any exam or any labs. So I just want to make sure you guys are aware of that. So both of these cases that we're talking about here, they could have come through totally fluidlessly. So let's look at this case. We have a business-owned key person's protection. So this is, again, this is on the term product we're going to look at here. So meet Beth. She's an owner of her company. It's called Alta. It's a startup software business. She relies heavily on Kevin, who's her experienced engineer, key business employee, obviously. Kevin's death would have a very, very significant impact on her business if anything were to happen to Kevin. So what steps can she take, to make sure, if something happens to him, what can she make sure her business is protected? So what you're looking at here is the solution. So what we're going to do is, she's going to provide Kevin with a notice and consent that he's going to need to sign if he wants to do this. He's going to need to sign an intention that they're going to buy a policy, and she's going to be the beneficiary on that policy for $1 million. And this is going to be a term policy we're looking at here again. And then he provides written consent to her so that she can go ahead and purchase this policy on him. Now, she's going to be the responsible party for the premium. So she buys a PL Promise term on his life, and she pays those annual premiums just shy of $390. And she is, again, the owner and the beneficiary of the policy. So if anything were to happen to Kevin, she's going to receive a life insurance death benefit of $1 million. And this is going to protect her business, because it'll give her time to, if she needs the time at that point, to find someone else to fill his shoes. So what are the results of this? She receives that financial protection against the premature death of Kevin. And the death benefit gives Alta the liquidity she might need, if she has any significant expenses associated with recruiting and training a new replacement for Kevin. And it just avoids a disruption or slowdown in their business. Also, as I mentioned, this is a term solution, but if she needs to convert that, let's say Kevin outlives it, he doesn't have this premature death issue, they can convert this policy to the PL Promise conversion product. Now, there's different durations. I'm going to show you later in the presentation that shows you how it works. It depends on what duration that client chose. So let's say they did a 10-year duration. So this is a 10-year term, which wouldn't make sense, but let's assume it was a 10-year term. If they convert in the first 4 years of the policy, you will receive 150% of your normal compensation, and the client will get our most competitive premiums on our conversion solution. And again, I'm going to talk more about this later, but that is available to this client in the situation. If they needed to convert, they could do that. So we see a lot of child term riders on our PL Promise term product. And so that's why I wanted to promote this a little bit with you guys, because I think people forget about it. So I want to talk about it a little bit. So you got Rob and Maria here. They're both age 40. They have 2 children. They're under the age of 10. They want to purchase a $500,000 20-year term policy, a PL Promise term policy. And then for additional protection, they're considering adding the term insurance, that child term rider, to each policy. So let's look at what they can do here. So Rob and Maria purchase a PL Promise term, and then they do add that child level term rider to each policy. So $10,000 for one child on Rob's and $10,000 for the other child on Maria's. And you can see there the cost breakout for it. So for Rob's policy, it's just a little over $35 a month. If you add that child term rider, it adds another $4.68 to it. So the total premium for Rob is going to be $40.10. For Maria, it's $29.51 a month. For the child term rider, you add that on, it's $4.68. So her total monthly premium is going to be $34.19. So these 2 child term riders for $10,000 each are costing these folks $9.36. And what's the result there? They're going to get $10,000 of coverage on each child. So it's just an affordable way to do this and think about it. And also, people forget, if they want to convert later in life, the child can convert that child term rider to our conversion solution as well. So just a really simple thing, but keep it in mind, we sell a lot of the child term riders on PL Promise term. So I want to spend a little bit of time talking about the chronic illness rider that Bill mentioned earlier in the presentation. So that is available on our PL Promise GUL product. So in this example, we've got Bob and Bonnie, age 50. They have one child. They have $3 million in net worth. They need life insurance protection, and they want financial protection from chronic illness costs. Now, in this situation, what can they, what should they do? What should they think about doing? So let's see what they're going to do. So Bob and Bonnie each buy a PL Promise GUL and add that chronic illness rider to that. So what it enables them to do is they're getting the life insurance protection that they need, and they're also getting coverage for potential chronic illnesses in the future. So a portion of that policy's death benefit can be accessed while they're living if they were to go on claim. And it's a typical claim requirement if the client cannot do 2 of the activities of daily living, or they have a severe cognitive impairment, they will qualify for coverage under the chronic illness rider. It is an additional charge rider. So unlike that return of premium feature we talked about earlier, that's free to the client, the chronic illness rider is an additional charge rider, and it is fully underwritten. So there could be a situation where Bob qualifies for the life policy, but he does not qualify for the chronic illness rider. And there might be something in this, maybe he had really bad back surgery or something like that. So there are situations where you can get the life insurance, but they might not qualify for that chronic illness rider. Now, we do offer a couples discount, and in this situation, both parties in the couple are applying, but that does not have to happen. So you could have let's say you have a husband and wife, and maybe the wife already has long-term care protection. So they could come in and just get the coverage on the husband and add that chronic illness to his policy, and he will still qualify for the couple's discount because he is part of a couple. Now, you can accelerate that chronic illness rider up to $3 million as either a monthly or annual benefit payments. We do not require receipts. This is a reimbursement policy, so it's not a indemnity. So we don't require receipts or things like that, so you don't have to worry about that. And the other thing that's nice about it being an indemnity versus, indemnity versus reimbursement. I'm saying this wrong. It's an indemnity policy, not a reimbursement. I'm sorry, I mixed those two up. But the cool thing about it being indemnity versus reimbursement is you do not have to have your long-term care CE to qualify to sell this. So you don't have to have that to sell this rider. And as I mentioned earlier, it is not available in California. So this just shows you, so the annual premium for Bob is just over $3,200. For Bonnie, it's $2,900, over almost $3,000. So they have, each of them have $10,000 monthly benefit that they can access from this chronic illness rider if they were to ever go on claim. And they each have $250,000 death benefit. So it's just a really nice feature to have. So that a lot of people maybe are shying away from traditional long-term care right now. This gives them another option to get some coverage in those situations that they might not be thinking about. So this one we mentioned earlier, so the Promise GUL goes down to a minimum face amount of $25,000, and we see a lot of final expense solutions with this product, assuming the insured is insurable, right? They can go through underwriting, they can qualify, because this is not a guaranteed issue policy. It's not a simplified issue policy. They'd have to qualify for underwriting. But if they do, it is a cheaper solution for them than going out and getting a guaranteed issue policy. So what you have here is you've got John, age 55. He is single. He currently has a cash value life policy, but it's no longer meeting his needs. So he wants an affordable alternative, so he can also save more for retirement at the same time he's covering his final expenses. So what we want to look at here is him possibly doing a 1035 exchange. So what you see here is he has that existing life policy, that cash value life policy with another carrier. He's going to do a 1035 exchange of the cash value into the PL Promise GUL, and he's got that cash value of $1,075, and that's going to go into this $25,000 death benefit GUL policy. His premium on the Promise GUL is $633 a year before he did the 1035 exchange. Once he gives that cash value into that policy, on top of that, his premium goes down to $579 a year. So his premiums are actually cheaper on the Promise GUL than they were on his existing cash value policy. But it also gives him this ability, because his premiums are lower with the cash value going into it, that he can actually invest more and save for retirement. So it's two solutions in one. And a lot of people have these old cash value policies they bought years and years ago, maybe for a final expense solution, and they don't realize, things have changed. There's better policies out there today that they might need to be looking at. And going back to that chronic illness rider, what if he needs chronic illness? He can do a 1035 exchange into the GUL and get the chronic illness added to it as well. So we've mentioned several times about the return of premium feature. It is built into both the GUL policy, as I mentioned, as well as the conversion policy. So you get that at no charge. The consumer gets it at no additional charge, assuming you guarantee the policy to at least age 100. So in this scenario, we have Sam, age 45, and Elaine, age 40. They have a 10-year-old with special needs. He's going to need lifetime care. They want certainty of guaranteed affordable death benefit protection. That's what they're looking for. They'd like some flexibility. The return of premium sounds really nice to them because it gives them some flexibility if they need liquidity in the future. So what does it look like? So what we did here is Sam purchases a $1 million PL Promise GUL, as well as Elaine purchases a $500,000 GUL. Both policies are guaranteed to age 100, so both of these clients will get that return of premium feature built into the policy. They also, with our GUL, we have what we call our consumer protection. And what this does is if a client pays up to 30 days late or up to 30 days early, so we give them a 60-day window, the back and the front end, basically around the due date. So if they pay 30 days late or 30 days early, it's going to be credited as of the day it was supposed to be received, and it will not jeopardize their no lapse guarantee. I don't know of a lot of carriers that have GUL out there today that have that protection built in, because a lot of times clients don't realize that if they don't pay on time, that they're going to lose features in the policy like the no lapse guarantee. So this gives them that 60-day window that a lot of times they won't get with other carriers' GUL policies. So in this situation, if Sam needs to, do a return of premium in year 15, he can get $102,000 out of the policy. If he waits to do it in year 20, he can get $181,000 out of the policy. And then lastly, if he waits to year 25, he can get $227,000 out of the policy. And you can see Elaine there at the bottom, $38,000 in year 15, $68,000 in year 20, and then $85,000 in year 25. So it just gives them some flexibility with this, because if things change and they need to take some money out of the policy, they can do that. And it's just a nice add-on for the client to have. And I will point this out because I don't believe it's in this presentation anywhere. This policy has tremendous targets. We actually increased our targets last year. I want to say it was towards the end of spring, early summer. So we increased our targets because what we found was the premium was very competitive. We had the nice features, the add-ons, but our targets were not as competitive as we wanted them to be. So we actually improved targets by about 33% across the board on this product. And now we have very, very competitive targets on this policy. So I want to make sure you're all aware of that. So this just shows you a level lifetime premium. So this shows you where we stack against the competition. So you see Pacific Life there at the top. The premium for a $500,000 death benefit for a female is $3,400 approximately. Premium for $1 million on a male is just over $9,000. And then you can see just where we stack up across the competition there. And a lot of carriers I'm sure you guys are familiar with. If this is a case study you're interested in, we do have, you'll see on the page, this download case study, and I'll make sure Bill's team has it. So you can get access to all of these sales concepts on these. We usually have them in 1 to 2 page flyers. So this was a conversation that I had with one of my coworkers, and I kind of alluded to it earlier, where the agent actually converted another agent's policy. So I want to talk a little bit about what your term strategy looks like. So in this case, we're going to talk about the conversion product that we've been talking about, where 150% of normal compensation that you can get out of this product. So here we have Sandy. She's 45. She's married and she has 2 children. She's a business owner and the sole breadwinner for the family. She wants a budget-friendly term life insurance solution for her family to make sure everybody's protected. So she purchases a PL Promise term for 20 years. Now, we'll tell you, 20-year duration is our #1 selling term product out there. And based on her age and what she's applying for, she can qualify for our accelerated underwriting. And she can get it, like Bill mentioned, very, very quickly, get turned around very, very quickly. That's available for clients ages 18 to 60 up to $3 million. And there's no fluids, there's no exam, there's no APS. We're making a decision with accelerated underwriting tools. So that's available to her with that term product solution there. Now, 10 years later, she's had this policy for 10 years. Her business has grown significantly. And so she realizes this term policy is just not going to be sufficient for her long-term goals. So she sits down with her advisor, they have a conversation during a policy review, and they decide together, let's convert this policy. We need to get to permanent coverage for you, so you don't have to worry about, you know, getting out the end of the guarantee and the premiums going up. So let's go ahead and convert this policy now. So what benefits does Sandy get out of this? There's no underwriting. She goes straight from that term policy into the GUL conversion policy with no underwriting. She doesn't have to worry about that. So maybe her health changed in that 10-year period. Maybe she was preferred before, and 10 years down the road, you know, she was stressed out. Her health changed, and unfortunately, she's no longer preferred. Well, she's going to move from that term policy to that conversion solution as a preferred risk, because that's what she was locked in as with the term product. She's extending her coverage. You know, she's going beyond that 20 years with this policy. You can dial it down to 90, take it out to 121. So just remember, though, if you dial it down less than age 100, the client's not going to get that return of premium feature we've been discussing. Sorry, I had to take a glass of water really quick. And this addresses a variety of business owner needs. And again, I'll make sure Bill and team has this PowerPoint so you can access all the links that it's referenced at the bottom of the page. Okay, let's go into one more sales concept here. So we want to talk about, again, we're talking about conversions, as I mentioned earlier. So in this example, we've got Sarah, age 62. She's married and she's a mother of 2 children. She currently owns a PL Promise term policy with us that has $500,000 death benefit, and it's set to expire in 5 years. So she will be out of the guarantee period in this policy in 5 years. And she needs coverage beyond the term period. So she needs to look at solutions of things she can do to get that additional coverage. So again, she can do this conversion solution that we've been talking about. Again, no additional underwriting for her to have this solution. So it's very similar to what we talked about with the lady that wasn't a business owner, but this is a very, it works the same way for a business owner, exactly the same way. Sorry, I'm going backwards. Apologize. Okay. So I will make sure again that Bill gets this, and you can look at, this is our marketing guide for the conversion UL, gives you all the information about the early conversion incentives that we have. I haven't mentioned this, but terminal illness is built into this policy. It's built into all of our policies, so it's available in all of our policies. I'm going to see how we're doing for time, Bill. I know we wanted to stick around 30 minutes, so just tell me if I'm going too long. I want to make sure, because I know you guys have some questions.
We're okay. Another 5-7 minutes is fine.
Okay, cool. All right, thank you. So I have been talking about this, and Bill has been talking about this throughout the presentation, the early conversion incentives. So we're actually going to show you what this looks like now. So you have a financial professional who sets up a policy review with a potential new client. He has the conversation with the client about, that he sees that she has a PL Promise term 10 for she's had it for 3 years. And he basically asks her, was she looking for a term, or was she looking for a permanent solution? And this was actually a real case. This is not, they say hypothetical, this was actually a real case that we had happen. The client actually the original advisor never spoke to her about a permanent solution. He only spoke to her about term insurance. And after he sold the term policy, he just totally walked away from the client. So that's why she was sitting down with this new financial advisor to have this conversation. And come to find out, really what she wanted was a permanent solution. So the new advisor steps in and is able to convert this policy. And he gets 150% of normal compensation. It's just a conversation that he had with the client to find out what her needs was, and resulted in a very, very nice case for him. So this chart is available in the marketing materials that you'll have access to. It tells you how our early conversion feature works. So as I mentioned, our #1 selling duration is the 20-year term. So assuming you sell a 20-year term, you have years 1 through 9 are when you can convert and get up to 150% of normal compensation. If you wait and don't do it until year 10, that's considered a midterm conversion. And what happens there is you'll lose the bonus you would have had you converted 1 year earlier. So this just shows you this. So we're trying to really drive a certain behavior with our conversion policy. Early conversions are a win for us as a carrier because we experience really good mortality there. It's a win for you as the agent because you get the 150% of your normal compensation. And it's a win for the consumer because they get our lowest premiums when they do an early term conversion, and they get a permanent solution that they need. So this shows you how our early conversion option works. We do probably on average, our average target on our conversions is about 80,000. We do a lot of business cases with this conversion solution, because what we've had happen is, and I'll give you an example, we had two partners that had a business. They really needed a permanent solution, but at the time, they couldn't go out and buy a permanent policy. Basically, it was a cash flow issue. So what they did instead was go ahead and lock in both of their insurability with the PL Promise term, and with the intention 2-3 years down the road, when the cash flow issue was resolved, they were going to go ahead and convert it. And that's exactly what they did. They locked in the clients, locked in their clients' insurability. 2-3 years down the road, that's when they converted it to the PL Promise conversion solution that they really wanted all along. But at the time, they just couldn't really afford it at the time. So they did that. They did it that way, and it was resulting in very, very nice targets on those cases as well. Now, as you're growing your business with Pacific Life, you'll be able to access everything about your book of business on our website that's called Producer Bay. And what this page is just showing you is there's this Word document, it's not a Word document, excuse me, an Excel document that you can access and download your entire book of business off of our website. And you can sort it by the conversion expiration date. So you can see what clients that you have that are maybe coming up close to their conversion expiration date. So it can generate some leads for you to have conversations with clients during your policy review that you might be having with them. And you have that information right there in front of you. We do have, if you're not using policy review tools, I highly recommend that. We have a policy review for personal business, for personal people, individuals. And then we also have policy review for business situations. So we've got all these materials that are available to you. That $12 trillion need is not really decreasing. We still, people still need the coverage out there. Over half of the United States is totally uninsured. They have no insurance. So we really need to have that conversation. This is a huge opportunity, but the policy review materials are very, very nice and available to you guys. So that's the last thing that I had, Bill. So I'm going to hand it back to you.
Okay, good stuff. Perfect. So I want to try to get everyone out within 10 minutes, right before 3 p.m. Eastern. That was great. That was great. I learned a lot. I appreciate that. That 150% on the conversion is just insane. I've never seen that before, and that's another great reason why. So just I want every agent to be aware, all of our marketers here have all of this information, the slides, strategies, product details. So lean on them, okay? Pick up the phone, any quotes, product brochures, just ask any one of our marketers on the team, 26 people now, they're all here to help you. Okay, so you got to jump in and pick up the phone or shoot them an email, whatever you prefer. But we have to make sure you're comfortable. You need to make sure the consumer is comfortable. Like I say, if they can't read it back to you or they can't explain the product back to you, they probably shouldn't be buying it. But it starts with you. So, and then we have to educate you. We all know how that works. Okay, to get started, so real fast, this is our website, and you'll see the arrows here pointing. Very simple. You'll see contracting. Now, with Pac Life, you do need an application to get appointed, so we can't set you up once you have your first app, and that can be family, friends, yourself. It doesn't make a difference. And then here's what's so cool with your first app. If you transfer from another IMO, we give you cash for contracting or free leads for contracting. Okay, with your first paid application. So that's a win-win. Plus, you get to access all of our platforms, tools, all the bullets we mentioned earlier. And like I said, the second time now, most of that is 100% complimentary. Okay, so we don't nickel and dime you for every little thing. And I think this is important too. And I mentioned this earlier, when you're talking about the younger generation, right? And you're out there marketing, and some of these young adults, we'll call them, right? They want everything fast. They want everything on your website. They want to click and fire away with quotes and applying and approvals. And when you think about this, and I know Carlin touched on it, I touched on it, write it down again, okay? And I hope you have your notes app or whatever. $25,000 to $3 million, issue ages 18 to 70, okay? Will have a decision in typically 24 to 48 hours. So that's the kind of service and turnaround time that you should be marketing to a healthy, younger consumer, okay? And you can do that comfortably with Pacific Life, okay, especially with their technology that they just adapted for their underwriting department. So you got to run with this stuff. And then on top of that, the CNN and Wall Street Journal #1 ranking is a huge deal. So love that stuff. There's not a better time. Get appointed. It's early 2024. Goals are in place. What I want to do now is show you quickly some marketing material that you can use, some product bullets that you need to know for yourself, for consumers. I always say you got to have your toolbox handy, right? And you have to know what's inside. You got to be quick, especially on these Zoom calls or on these lead calls, right? You're making these every day, hopefully. And you also need to understand, yes, there are other competitive carriers, right? And we, like I said, for the second time, we have over 90. But I want you to see real fast on this cheat sheet, Pacific Life, #1. This is all GUL, okay? And I brought it up before how if you're talking about term, because term is inexpensive, most people want to rent the house versus buying the house, right? It's sometimes a third or a quarter of the price or 30%, 40% less. But always bring up the GUL sale. And on this cheat sheet, you're going to see the bullets with Pac Life. And again, American National strong, Protective strong, Columbus Life, all strong companies. But you can see the difference here where Pac is outshining everyone when it comes to GUL. So just make note of that. Let's keep moving forward. If we can go to the next slide here real fast. What I want to do now is talk about quoting, because you have to be ready to go on the fly. This is the fourth time I said it. You got to get answers quickly, and you got to know enough to be dangerous. So make sure we have the only permanent quoting system available, which takes all of this information. So let's say you enter in client data, right, to get a quote for Pac Life, GUL. This demographic, so all of the basics you put in gets populated right into the drop ticket. So then you fill out a few more questions and answers with the client on the phone, hit submit, boom, you are done in less than 10 minutes. That's quoting to application into underwriting. Okay, it doesn't get any easier, folks. So you're going to see Pac again up on the top, Columbus, Protective, North American. By the way, they're all going to be at our expo as well. But you can see the red box. Okay, I don't have to say any more. Let's keep moving forward. By the way, if you need help logging in or getting set up, just let any one of our marketers know. Real fast, social media marketing, right? That's especially today. And talking to before you would say the younger generation. Now it's pretty much everyone. Okay, I remember my grandma before she passed a couple years back, right? She had her own Facebook page. So you have to be active. I always talk about this. I rant about this. I can't stress it enough. In fact, that is the main reason why and how we built our company so quickly over the years, right, was marketing with Facebook ads, okay, with marketing on social media, with writing blogs, with having a professional. We had the first WordPress website with a quoting engine in the life insurance industry, period. Okay, first e-application we rolled out with Applify and iPipeline years ago. iPipeline bought Applify back then, but we were the first IMO to roll this out. Point is, you have to market yourself. We have a complete turnkey library. We call it the co-branded resource center. We can even add your picture number, your family picture with the dog logo, everything for you so you have no excuses. And this is all free. Okay, you should be marketing on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. It's all free, and we already have the ads pre-approved for you. This is next slide here real fast, our sample social media posts. So now you really have no excuses, because here we did the legwork for you. We literally go into Facebook, we go into Instagram, we go into LinkedIn, and we search top performing life insurance ads or posts. Okay? Now, what you're going to notice here, and I always say you don't have to reinvent the wheel, you change a few spokes. What you're going to notice is very simple posts here, or pictures, or graphics. Okay? And why are these getting so many likes and creating so many leads, right? It's not rocket science, okay? Typically, it's raising awareness. It's educating. The one on the right, 731 likes, over 100 comments. Every one of those comments is a new lead. Okay, that's how you need to look at it. Send a DM, a direct message, a personal message, and just say, "Hey, it's me, Bill Levinson. I'm the guy that posted the ad here, and you had a comment about a quote. How can I help you? Okay, here's my number, email, however you want to deal with me. I'm gonna deal with you, no problem. Okay." We pivot along with the consumer behavior. Period. That's how you have to look at this. The middle, is this rocket science? All it says is the old type of life insurance and then the new type with living benefits. All the way over to the left, life insurance is a combination of caring, commitment, and common sense. I think that's common sense. I mean, right? Is that pretty simple to understand? That one alone got 7 comments, 39 likes. And that's not difficult. So start getting this stuff out there. No more excuses. You should be searching too on Facebook and Instagram and just put in, indexed universal life or GUL or term life, right? And you can see what ads are performing the best. It's not difficult. Okay, enough ranting. I want to get everyone out in a couple minutes, and I have our question of the day. This is our top 10 platforms from 2023. Here's a list in front of you. Take a look, leverage these opportunities. We've, number one, spent a ton of dollars and time building these things for you. Okay, so you got to take advantage, get the word out, change your year for the better. The podcast, I'm very, very excited about Bill Levinson Experience. This is now the 7th year in a row. I've never missed a month, an episode. I'm very proud to say that. And next guest speaker is Michael Savage, and I spoke about him earlier. He was Tony Robbins' right hand. If we can go to the next slide, that would be great. This is a big deal. It's a great training tool for you all. Why? Because you can sit here and pick the brain of a top MDRT producer for an hour like I do on these interviews and learn and pivot and adjust, see what they're doing that's working. If you can pick up an idea or two, you just won for free. Okay, and look at all these great guest speakers inside and outside of our industry. Okay, this is good stuff here. Next time you're walking around the block, yoga, doing whatever, put your headphones in. Listen, it's free. It's on all the big podcast channels, but you got to jump in and listen. Take the first step. Future trainings is what you're looking at right now. That's what you're on today. Now, what you're going to notice is this year we adjusted the time. Most of our webinars are going to be at 2 p.m. Eastern now. We got a bunch of requests from you all saying we want these earlier, so we did exactly that. So real fast, LSW is on the 18th, just under that, talking about social media and WordPress professional websites and AI integration, which you're going to hear a lot about this year. That's on the 25th. Just under that is Everything Mutual Omaha relaunch. That's on the 22nd of February. Some great stuff coming up. My last slide and my question of the day, and we are right on time here. So make sure you're paying attention. Make sure your little fingers are on the keyboard, and you're going to answer my question first. Okay, because if you answer first and correctly, you get the Fire Tablet 7 and my IUL prospecting book on us. Okay, we'll announce you right now, but you got to answer first and correctly. Tony, these 3 pictures here was at our last year's expo at 23, and we were still kind of dealing with the end of COVID a little bit. This is our first clean year. We were talking earlier of 2024 where COVID is pretty much done, right? And we are almost capped out for the expo. And you can see how many people we had there. What a great event. This was my Positive Tuesday quote. Very simple. Again, most of this is common sense. How do we make this our best year ever? Okay, you know the answer, right? By doing exactly what we said we would do on January 1st, because we all have these goals, these New Year's resolutions, where we write them down, and then by the time March, April comes around, we don't remember half of what's on the list, okay? And by the time the summer comes, maybe you got one thing done out of 20, okay? Make sure it's in front of you every day and you're accomplishing these goals. Make sure you're trying these new things, marketing your business, growing your business. We're here to help you, okay? The proof is in the pudding. See, look what we are doing on social media, on our website, in our marketing. You should be doing the same thing, but focused on consumers. My question of the day, I spoke about the Pack Life underwriting program. Okay, how fast it is, how it caters, especially to the younger, healthier clients. What I need to know from you, and you win, is tell me the issue age range and the face amount range for the accelerated underwriting platform with Pacific Life. You tell me the age range and the face amount range from what to what with the automated underwriting platform with Pac Life. I mentioned about 24 to 72 hours from app to decision, as long as you have a clean, healthy, younger consumer. I need to know the issue age range and the face amount range. Whoever's first walks away a winner. Andrew's going to tell us who was first and correct.
Okay, the winner is Cliff L. Cliff L.
Cliff L. Congrats, $25,000 to $3 million. Issue ages 18 to age 70. Congrats, Cliff. Congrats to everyone on here because you sat through an hour with us. You walked away with nuggets, so you're a winner. Okay, you use one of these strategies and you make a new sale this afternoon, you won. Okay, you changed the day. You're going to change your year if you listen to what we're saying, right? And don't just listen to the words, watch what we do, okay, and make these things happen for the new year and do better, be better, okay? And everything will change slowly. Let's have a great year, great selling. Thank you again, everyone.